Chapter 3, Nightmares and Dreams. Rachael changed the subject, going back to Thyme's earlier story. That's terrible. The warlock of Rachael was interrupted. You should never say that name. Ever. Thyme said. Right. I forgot. That's some of your kind kill any non-worshippers for simply uttering those blasphemous words. Where is Orn? Rachael, you know better than to ask me a question like that. All right. Are you ready to tell me the next place you were forced to go? I wasn't forced. She raised an eyebrow. They don't force anyone to learn how to use this dark gift. You voluntarily went? But why? Look at how well I'm doing, Rachael. I'm not. I can't keep a job. My home is run down. I have so very little. With the warlocks, I can at least make a future for myself. What sort of future could you possibly make? Take a look at Harry. The warlock lawyer? He's horrible. He doesn't murder or give us a good enough reason to kill him. He's still evil. A good enough reason to kill him. He commented, letting the thought soak in. She frowned. I'm sorry. Look, I would never hurt you, Thyme. Sure you would. If I ever crossed that line and became like them, your fairy friends would smite me in a heartbeat. We aren't fairies. Your magic comes from Gaia. You're like one notch away from pagans, in my opinion. Ironically, early pagans were us. Rachael smiled. Thyme relaxed and even smiled back at her. Fine, Rachael, I'll tell you about Ephraim Waite and what he taught me. I will, of course, leave out any details like where he is or how to exploit any weakness my kind has. Rachael shrugged and nodded. The town had a pleasant odor which caught Thyme off guard. He expected the rancid, fishy smell that was foretold, and yet only a sea breeze combined with the warm sun protruded here. People waved with a genuine smile. A man was cutting his lawn. Another man was casually eating a sandwich on a park bench. One woman was rocking a baby in her arms. Fingers snapped in front of Thyme. The people, the place, and even the smell instantly changed. The sun was replaced by a clouded sky, dark and dreary. A fetid, fishy smell loomed all around, overwhelming the olfactory senses. The woman changed into a grotesque, lumbering, scaly, half-fish, half-human thing, resembling all too much the creature from the Black Lagoon, and not some fanciful mermaid. In her arms was a non-human thing that moved, pulsing and writhing. It was a limbless, headless life form, like a slimy bag. Something poked from inside, trying to get out. The man with the sandwich also converted to a fish man, taking savage bite after savage bite from a human arm clutched in his hands. The man cutting a lawn was a hulking beast, walking more with his forearms than with his legs. Finally, the scenery was not that of a pleasant neighborhood, but that of a dilapidated town with boarded-up windows. A young adult Thyme looked at the person that snapped their fingers. He was a middle-aged man. The man was skinny, with balding hair. His hand was still raised. He snapped a second time, and everything reverted back to the sunny, pleasant scene. "Do you like that?" he asked. Thyme blinked and slightly shook his head as if coming out of a daze. Are you Ephraim Waite? You have come to learn the secrets of nightmares. I have demonstrated only on a small scale what this magic can do. You used your magic to make me see a ghoulish scene of fishy disgust and that of a retching malignance? Ephraim let out a hoarse, hollow laugh, one that was mocking and cruel. Do you want to know the truth? Are you sure your mind can handle it? That's why I'm here, isn't it? Ephraim turned around, walking away. Thyme followed. They walked into what must be Ephraim's home, a manor of simplicitude. There were stone statues, but Thyme could not tell if they had any meaning or if they served some unguessable, abominable, yet magical purpose. An aquatic theme consisting of mermaids, the whimsical kind, water fountains, and trimmed hedges forming fish shapes. Unlike Orn, Ephraim did not hide any of his magical ongoings. There were no hidden passageways, no secret rooms. All of his magical books, tomes, sacrificial daggers, and even the altar were in plain sight. Ephraim's altar was to the dreaded Cthulhu. His god was different than Yogsothoth. While Cthulhu was frequently described as a creature the size of a mountain that lumbered about, reveling in destruction, in truth this god was one of the non-physical. The god of nightmares entered the dreams of mortals. His minions taught men the ways of nightmare invocations. "How do I learn your ways, sir?" Thyme asked. Ephraim raised an eyebrow. "Not my ways, his ways." He pointed to the altar of Cthulhu. "I would never take credit for his invocations." "Ah, yes, the great Cthulhu—" Thyme was cut off from saying the full name. "You shall not speak that name." Ephraim's finger pointing accusingly at Thyme. "You are not worthy. You are not a true worshipper of my God. Only those directly worship my God may say his name." I'm sorry." Thyme looked down, ashamed. "Ye shall not get a second warning." Ephraim calmed himself down, lowering his hand. His face became composed. "We waste no time. I will teach you nightmares. Go to sleep." Thyme looked about nervously. What? Now? I'm not in the least bit tired." Ephraim waved his hand just in front of Thyme. Thyme collapsed on the floor, unconscious. His eyes opened. The bed was soft. The room was dim but not dark. A sort of mist persisted all around. The fog of dreams, one might call it. He got up and walked to the door. A hum was heard on the other side. The door opened on its own. Maybe by his willpower, he could not tell. A floating feeling replaced a normal sensation of movement. Outside, the sky was a reddish gray. The fog pulsated all around. Strange disembodied phantasms groaned and moaned. Those figures had physical-looking chains wrapped around themselves, locked them in place, connected to the ground. Their faces were impossible to make out, but their agony was strong and real. "What is this place?" Thyme's voice was a mental echo. "This is your home until your master this magic." Thyme touched one of the floating chained specters. It wriggled in pain at his touch. A sizzling sound combined with smoke came from his hand. He pulled his hand back with a gasp. "The secrets of the mind. I'm supposed to learn how to inspire nightmares, steal another's body, astral project, and if I can truly master this, I'm to actually be able to leave my own body and project my consciousness into other worlds, or even the past and future. The power of Cthulhu offers is far different than what I imagined." He took a closer look at the chained specter. It had a face and no face at the same time. It stirred in an ectoplasmic sac. The face faded away, and then the sac was empty. Thyme cocked his head. "What was that?" "That was a dreamer," said a voice whose distance was impossible to determine. Thyme looked around. Everything waved like an acid trip when he moved. Things came into focus slower. Light was not light here, so images were formed from the mind. "Who's there?" "Does it matter who I am?" "Of course." "Maybe I'm your mother. Maybe I've been watching over you your entire life. Maybe I'm your father, still standing by your side. Maybe I'm a shadow that has never existed." Yeah, and maybe you're Maybelline, but cut the crap. If you aren't going to tell me, then I can't trust you. Why, in the vast realm of dreams, would you trust me? Thyme shrugged. He propelled his body forward past the empty sack. All around him, those strange sacks filled and emptied randomly. All the while, their innards formed and unformed faces with no discernible pattern. There was no end in sight to how far these obscure sacks went. Thousands? Millions? Or more? It's more, said the voice. How can you hear my thoughts? There was laughter, not heard but felt. Here, everything is thoughts. You have so much to learn. For my own amusement, I will teach you how to shield your thoughts last. Thyme stopped moving. His astral face frowned in annoyance, more at himself than at the voice. Ephraim, wait. That took way too long to figure out. Is your body laying next to mine? How did you get here so fast? The passage of time is different here. It is chaotic and unpredictable. For all you know, I took my time and read a book. He reached to touch an empty sack. When his astral flesh made contact, he expected a sensation or possibly even something dangerous to occur. His hand passed through it uneventfully. He slowly withdrew his hand. Staring at it, disappointed, he frowned. Well, yes, boy. What did you expect from an empty dream sack? I mean, that thing is nothing more than a representative of a person's dream. Unlike your previous mentor, I have all the time in the universe and more to teach you everything about this magic. Because it has no meaning here, Thyme said more than asked. Ephraim's laughter was subtle but present. This is getting boring. We have a multiverse we can explore. Every person here is a gateway into their own dreams. I spent countless eons exploring some of these dreams. Let's speed things up. Go to an active one, any active one, and touch it. Thyme hesitated momentarily, wanting to ask more. He felt the mental agitation of his mentor, then thought better to not ask. Then briefly pondered, knowing his thoughts were an open book to the man and that he already knew his questions. He floated to the nearest filled sack. It grew and shrank in the same manner lungs expanded and deflated when breathing. He touched the thing. The face had a snout. This dream world was weird. With a flash, he felt his astral self being pulled into this dreamer's dream world. He still felt like he was in an astral form. You picked a stupid one, but for what we're doing, it's ideal. So you did as good as you did bad. I can't see anything. Thyme extended his hands to feel around, but felt no sensation of movement from his hands. You're in a mind as it sleeps. I can already see everything here. I suppose I should have taught you how to anchor yourself prior to coming in here, just in case something goes wrong. Thyme felt the elder warlock's indifference, or maybe amusement. What should I do? Also, what do you mean in case something goes wrong? Can I die in here? Not exactly. Well, technically, yes. The only way you could die here is if someone like myself insured it. It's not an easy process, but I've done it before to others. Do keep that in mind in case you decide to piss me off like you did with Simon Orne. Well, you have me. I'm once again at someone's mercy. Did you want me to dance or jump up and down? Ha! No, not this time. For now, I want you to focus on the mind you are in. We will start by seeing what they see to access their sensors. Picture in your mind's eye something you can interact with. It could be anything. Some people use a control room, while others like to picture a hallway they can just walk through and enter room after room. I knew one that imagined a massive room full of switches. Thyme imagined the best interactable thing he knew. A keyboard and small screen appeared before his vision. A computer. Yes, a computer. I'm quite adaptable. Look, you said I could pick anything, and this is what I use best, okay? Whatever. All right. Next, use that screen. The word screen was emphasized with sarcasm. It should be easy since it represents sight. The screen illuminated. It showed grass and something in the low center portion that was black and spherical and impossible to focus on. The image moved from side to side as it advanced forward, still low to the ground. I don't understand what I'm watching. I'm not going to give it away. Use your imagination and figure it out. He stared at the screen, trying to make sense of the moving image. The image was too low to the ground to be a normal person. Are they crawling? They move too fast to crawl. Somehow they're running. There's a ball just in front of them. The image hovered over it without stopping, then turned around, and formerly behind, now in front of them, was a man standing over twice the size, and the screen moved to that man. His lips moved, but no words were heard. Oh, this is a dog. I'm watching a dog's dream. Why can't I hear? Either the dog is not dreaming a sound, or you are not tapping into what they can hear, Ephraim retorted. Thyme imagined sound and speakers formed next to the computer. Dog panting was heard as the canine rushed to fetch the ball again. He heard its legs hitting the ground with each fast-moving step. I can see and hear what he hears. Please don't make me smell and taste what he does. I will be a rarity that you will. I think you understand enough about accessing perceptions. This is just a dream. Now, to get to its memories. Thyme began typing on the keyboard. He pressed Control-Alt-Delete. The same menu popped up that he expected. From here, he opened the desktop and opened random folders. You learned that one quick. These useless memories are unguarded. When you're done playing, you are going to alter its dream into a nightmare. Thyme mentally winced at the thought. Torture an animal? Ephraim let out an exhausted long sigh. Yes, you have to do necessary things to get things done. Are we going to have this talk every time I want you to do something? I'm sorry, I just hate this. Also, why does everyone always say necessary instead of evil? Grow up. Stop making me hold your hand. Listen, I don't know how much about computers, so this tool you're using is alien to me. I usually use a book for my imaginary tools. How does that work? How do you see with a book? Trust me, it works. Using a tool invented by a faggot is beneath me. Navigate, or whatever you call it, to its dream. Thyme winced at the vulgarity. If Ephraim noticed, which he must have, he ignored it. He returned his focus to the task at hand. He opened a folder that he subconsciously named Active Dream, then opened the program. The screen froze in place. A second screen popped up on the right inside of the main one. He clicked on it, and it was DOS. He typed C:/desktop/active_dream/dream/red_sky. He closed the folders and menus, then looked at the dog's visual. The sky changed to red. The dream continued, and the dog did not notice the alteration. All right, now make him feel pain. Give him a nightmare. Why? Because I said. Thyme felt the threat and wanted to argue, but knew better. He reopened the DOS window and typed C:/desktop/active_dream/dream/. He paused. What exactly should his nightmare be? Who cares? Use your imagination. He continued typing. Angry_owner. The man in the image behind the dog began yelling, Bad dog! Except it was muffled and sounded more like Boof, doof. The dog whimpered and lowered to the ground. Thyme felt no magic enter his body. Good enough, I guess. There's so much more you can do than give someone a bad dream, you know. Get out of its head. We'll find a human so I can teach you more. How do I get out? The easiest way is to imagine walking backwards, but I don't know if that will work for you since you like computers so much. Thyme pressed the escape key. He felt his body hurl backwards. He was once again in the void of dreams where all of the strange sacks full of dreamers were. Once his mind adjusted, he asked, What else can I do besides alter memories and dreams? Anything, Ephraim stated flatly. No excited tone was present. Mind control? Yes. Telepathy? We're doing that now. Teleportation? Yes, but it's advanced. You basically enter this dream void physically, and you can exit out through someone else's dreams. It takes a lot of practice to get it right, and a whole lot of magic to attempt. Honestly, a car ride is less troublesome. Oh, and it's dangerous too. How so? Aside from a foul-up where part of your body ends up inside of a wall or cramped space, there are dangerous things here. Cthulhu's minions dwell here. Aren't you, Thyme stopped himself from saying, one of his minions. The most powerful human is still just a human. I am less than a mail clerk to the president. Keep your mind sharp and your head down when you're here. Those things can just as easily kill you as you do a bug. Why are you taking so much time to help me? Mr. Orn was nowhere near this helpful. Ephraim laughed. Orn is not much of a fan of unity. I suppose when you have limitless undead servants at your disposal, you feel no need to canter to anyone. We need you strong, boy, and our kind of strength can only come with knowledge. Now, are you ready to possess someone? Rachael heaved a sigh. They taught you how to steal bodies? Thyme played with the rim of his glass. And more. Ephraim Waite taught me everything about nightmare magic. It's strange how in the end of all of that, it is the most useful magic to me. Abominable, she said. Thyme shrugged. Well, yes, all of it is. But you aren't. She reached a hand to comfort her brother. He allowed it with indifference. It's your turn now. Dream magic, the other side of the coin of nightmares. Tell me about it. Rachael nodded and began telling her experience in learning dream magic. A young adult, Rachael walked into the IDS, Institute for Dream Study. The clerk at the front desk typed away into their keyboard, not looking up to acknowledge her presence. Rachael cleared her throat to get his attention. He raised one finger, telling her to wait, then returned to typing. Rachael didn't lower her smile. The man, after almost 2 minutes, finally looked up. Do you have an appointment? I should. What do you mean, should? Yes or no? Rachael faltered in her smile. I was told to be here as soon as possible. Dr. Philip Olaf told me to... The receptionist nodded. Ah, one of his interns. You'll find his office on the 3rd floor, room 318. They returned to their mindless typing. Thank you, Rachael replied. They said nothing in response. She walked to the elevator. The doors opened, and a man was already standing expectantly, staring at Rachael. His name tag on his lab coat read, Dr. Olaf. Ah, you must be Dr. Olaf. He winked, pointing at his name tag, said nothing, and made room for her to enter. The doors closed behind her as she turned around. So you're going to teach me about dream magic? He nodded again, saying nothing. I am Rachael. He nodded a 3rd time. You don't say much, do you? He shrugged, smiling, then moved his hands to intricate gestures. Sign language. Huh? I don't understand. He sighed, shrugged again, pulled from his front pocket one of his pens and a pad of paper from his back pocket, scribbled some words, then handed it to her. Rachael, I am mute. Oh, Rachael spoke slowly, mouthing her words very carefully, making sure he could see her lips. So you are... going to teach me about dream magic. Again he scribbled on a piece of paper, his smile gone. It read, "Not deaf." Rachael dragged her hand across her face, embarrassed. The elevator came to a stop and the doors opened. The two walked out. She has given up on conversation for now. He led her into a room. This room was spacious and full of beds. Most of the beds had sleepers in them. Next to each bed was a nightstand, patient chart dangling on the end, and a small shelf space. He indicated her name on a chart on one empty bed. He then used his hands to gesture at a curtain that could be pulled around the bed for privacy. He walked away, and she was not inclined to stop him. She moved the curtain in what little privacy she could have. After she put her things away on the shelf space, she examined the chart. Name, Rachael Castaigne. Age, 20. Level, novice. Days remaining, 30. Occupation, unemployed. Blood type, A positive. Mentor, Dr. Philip Olaf. Allergens, none. The following pages were an empty dream log. She opened the curtain, and someone was standing there, casually leaning against the bed frame of the adjacent bed. "Hello there!" with a tone giving away his sexual intentions. Rachael raised an eyebrow. "My name is Jeremy. You must be..." He glanced at the chart. "Rachael!" "Jeremy, I'm pretty busy. You'll have to talk to me later," was the only thing Rachael could think of to ditch this creep. His hair was unkempt. His posture was atrocious. She walked past him, looking for Dr. Olaf. "No problem. I'll see you in your dreams." His voice had no sarcasm. Rachael turned back around with a confused look in her eyes. He was already walking away himself. "Dr. Olaf?" Rachel's voice echoed. Everything was slanted or curved in a strange fashion. "Yes, Rachael, it's me. What do you want?" His voice echoed. But he was nowhere to be seen. "Where are you? I'm confused. What's going on?" The room vibrated, and Dr. Olaf walked in, but he was walking on the ceiling. "I'm right here." His arms were stretched out, waving to her. "Wait, you can talk?" "Here I can." "What spell did you use to be up there?" she asked. He laughed and smiled for the first time since she first met him. "This is no spell, and I am a bit surprised you have not figured it out yet. Do you know where you are?" "This looks like the front desk, but everything looks different." "You aren't at the front desk. You're in your bed, sleeping. We're having a lucid dream. Most of my dreams are lucid like this, and it requires no magic to do. If you train yourself hard enough for years, you could achieve this. In this sleeping state, we could do more than we could do with magic in the waking world." "I've done this before. How do I do this?" She stepped towards him. "You're doing it now, but I'm not doing anything." "Rachael, it's a dream." "Oh." The thought sunk in. She looked up to him and started jumping, but her jumps were normal and she remained on the ground. "Have faith in yourself, Rachael. Believe you can do anything, because here you can." He turned around and ran back through the door he just entered from without looking back. "Like George Michael said, I gotta have faith." She crouched down, placed her hands on the ground, then did a handstand, swinging her feet straight above her head. She bent her arms down, then pushed herself up, springing into the air. Her feet landed on the ceiling. "Wow!" she remarked as she was now standing on the ceiling. "Mr. Olaf, wait up!" She ran after him. "Doctor!" he gleefully shouted back at her. "Right, sorry, doctor!" She shouted ahead of herself. She couldn't see him, though. Suddenly she was in a meadow, running through tulips. "What?" she exclaimed, but didn't stop running forward. Just up ahead, she saw him sitting atop a park bench in a small clearing. She ran to him, short of breath. He was meditating with his legs crossed. He opened his eyes to look at her, then chuckled. "What's so funny?" "You." His laughter grew. His legs unwound as his body relaxed. "What about me?" Rachael was still breathing heavily. He fell over and off the table. His body slunk onto the ground as he doubled over, laughing all the harder. "You aren't actually breathing." He calmed himself, still chuckling, and stood up, wiping dirt from his clothes. What are you... Oh, right, a dream. Well, you don't have real dirt on your clothes, so there." "Touché. All right, Rachael. Now, you have some understanding of our lucid state. I'm going to teach you how to best charge our magic." He grabbed Rachael by the wrist, waved with his other hand, and the field vanished, replaced by an endless scene of floating balls of light. Each light shimmered and glowed on its own. Some lights shone rapidly, while others remained constantly bright. Some twinkled in and out of existence. The sight spanned in every direction. There was no horizon. Both of these people were floating in the air. The twinkling lights and the endless sky amazed Rachael with its beauty and serenity. "This is amazing! What is this?" "This, Rachael, is where we can do the most good with our dream magic. In our lucid state, we can enter anyone's or anything's dream. We can interact with them however we want. Our capabilities are limited in there. Remember, in their dreams, they are gods, even if they do not realize it. Look at this one, for example." He pointed to a very bright nearby light. "This particular person is having a good dream. The brighter the light, the stronger the dream. It is usually best to stay out of those because we could do more harm than good. However, for the purposes of teaching safety to you, we'll start there." Rachael looked down and saw that he had not let go of her wrist the whole time. "Is this place dangerous, or is he worried about me?" "That's correct, Rachael," he said. "You can hear my thoughts?" "You'll learn how to do that too. We'll get there. For now, let's go inside." He moved into the light, his body floating. He pulled the non-resistant Rachael with him. The scene changed. Rachael did not doubt they were in the dream, but she had no idea what to expect. "He said it was a good dream, so I don't need to be scared." Dr. Olaf did not respond to her thoughts this time. Everything was bright, but that brightness was short-lived. Sound was first recognized. There was a panting sound made by people, along with moans of ecstasy. The light softened, revealing the room they occupied. "Rachael, I am speaking to you telepathically. Do not speak out loud. We don't want him to be aware of our presence just yet. I had to use a little magic to keep us concealed." Rachael gasped at the sight. Naked bodies glided across other naked bodies, genitals thrusted in every direction. Dozens of people were engaged in every possible sex act. A man was hammering his penis inside of another man from behind. Both looked overjoyed at their experience. Two women were orally pleasing one another, while men or women were behind them, thrusting their own genitals inside. Almost everyone had their mouths full. It was impossible to tell who was a man and who was a woman. There were 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 5, and the rest were moving too much to count their numbers. The first group consisted of 2. The one that was doing the fucking had 2 penises pushing inside of the fuckee's vagina and ass. Looking at the other group of 2, and the one with the penis had their genitals in a small metal cage, while the one on top pounded away at their anus while something that looked like a dick but wasn't. The anus transformed into a vagina mid-thrust. Rachel stared at it, fascinated and confused. Eventually, she tore her eyes away and looked at the other groups within this massive orgy. I've never imagined anything like this, Rachel thought. I know. First time I came across one of these, it blew my mind too. Whoever this dreamer is, they are incredibly imaginative. Well, are you ready to join? What? Rachel could not help her outburst. She cringed back, regretting it. Olaf let go of her wrist and placed his hand on her shoulder. Rachel, he whispered, you don't ever have to do anything you don't want to do. In fact, we can leave here any time we want. This is a dream, though. No risk of pregnancy or STDs, but I understand if you aren't ready for an experience like this. He looked at her, curious, but scared face. Rachel, I've met some of our kind that are so desperate to charge their magic that they blow anyone off just to do it. I'm going to teach you how to avoid that sort of risky life. He retracted his hand, but slid down and gently took hers into his own. The moment you want to leave, simply think it, and it will be over. The two began removing their dream clothes while moving towards the orgy. Each article vanished the moment they let it go. The two gleefully rushed forward, giggling and laughing. Rachel no longer felt the anxiety. Olaf released his grip, and she glided into the middle of the group of 7 men. It happened naturally. No awkward movements. She, without any problem, fit right in. There was no pain as she feared from being penetrated, but she knew this was but a dream, so she accepted it openly and fully. The man that was face to face with her and inside of her smiled as he began to shift, and Rachel saw his hair grow out, his stature shrink, his chest hair retracted, and muscles faded. His rough exterior became feminine. He or she looked identical to Rachel. Her eyes widened with surprise. The sensation of having another inside of her was replaced by the opposite, and she felt herself inside of this doppelganger before her. Rachel looked down and realized she was the man fucking herself. The sensation of the man inside of a woman overwhelmed her. It wasn't scary at all. Everything flowed so naturally in this strange dream world. Rachel didn't even notice Dr. Olaf in the distance, standing, watching alongside another whose face was undetectable. Rachel felt someone enter her from behind. Then the person in front of her vanished, and she felt her body shift back into a woman's body. A woman was crouched down, face smothered in Rachel's crotch. The pleasure was too intense. She looked back to see the face of who was inside of her. It was Jeremy. From just before the dream, he was smiling, a "I told you so" sort of smile. She was overcome with disgust. Rachel screamed, "I want out!" With a face drenched in sweat, she lifted her upper half up, breathing heavily. Her nightgown soaked. "What? Where? How? Where am I?" Olaf rushed to her from an adjacent bed. He cradled her head in her arms, soothing her. She continued to breathe, still feeling the dream. It slowly faded, as dreams did. With her ragged breath, she finally replied, "What happened? How did Jeremy..." Jeremy popped his head over the curtain. He was smiling. "That was great!" With an angry glare, Olaf waved him away. Jeremy shrugged and lowered his head back down. "Were we in his dream?" Rachel asked. Olaf took out his notepad and scribbled, "It's not too surprising. He is sleeping next to you, and he is a wizard like us. Sneaky little devil must have created that dream, then redirected us to it. It's not that hard to do. I'll show you how to do it eventually." "How did any of that happen?" Rachel asked. Again, he wrote, "Well, it's not hard for us to create dreams. Redirecting dreams, like I said, isn't hard either. Are you okay, Rachel? Did Jeremy hurt you? Is he one of the... He is one of the better students here, and his magic can only be charged with doing good, just like everyone else. Rachael shuddered. I just didn't expect him, is all. He's a bit creepy. Hey! Came Jeremy's outburst from the other side. Olaf stomped his foot and threw a nearby book in Jeremy's direction. It missed, but his point was made. Then Olaf wrote, But you don't feel violated at all, right? No, just startled. She calmed herself. I'm all right now. Rachael moved away from Dr. Olaf. I have never even imagined anything like that before. I turned into a man, then back into me. I have never even thought about being a woman, being with a woman, and yet there I was with a woman. This is all too strange for me. Maybe I'll stay away from weird sex dreams from now on. Rachael felt Jeremy's disappointment from the other side of the curtain. Olaf frowned but nodded his understanding, then wrote, That's just fine, Rachael. Never do anything you're not comfortable with, all right? Over the next few weeks, if you're a fast learner, I'll teach you so much more about dreams. End of chapter 3.